Revis.
Revis. Okay.
Revis. It's Waylon Revis.
Waylon
Yes.
Revis. Okay. Yeah.
Everything spelled correctly it's Waylon Revis. But nobody says my last name correctly. Not since 1990 when Beavis and Butthead first hit the air. My name
Oh,
became
okay.
Revis when Beavis hit the air.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Spear, and you're watching the HorrorFam.com podcast. Today's guest is Waylon Revis of A Killer's Confession, and he's been working on his fourth studio album and is in between one section of tour going into the next. By the time this comes out, he'll already be out with Drowning Pool on the road again. And hi, Waylon.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited to meet you. My husband's a big fan and he really wanted to interview you himself, but he had to work.
It happens. It's okay. You tell him I said hello.
I will. He'll like that. It's his birthday this weekend.
Happy birthday.
It's like getting a cameo.
I don't do cameo.
Oh, maybe you should.
Well, no, I prefer it, fans can always, I've always had an open door policy, just come say hello. You can get a VIP experience and stuff at shows, but I prefer to just do things in person. It's like if people see me, like some people get nervous and I'm welcoming. Just like, come on, say hello, get a picture. I've never said no to anyone about, an autograph, photo, picture.
Oh,
It's
that's
just
so
who I
nice of
am.
you. That's great. Um, I've noticed that a lot about like the horror community as well as that everyone's just like really friendly and so welcoming and everybody's just so nice and I'm really thankful for that.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we do horror and we're into horror and stuff, but we tend to be some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And then you go into children's television and it seems like it's the most disgusting people you'll ever meet. Uh,
Yeah.
I think that
Oh,
we're just acting out and and in the horror, I think we're real true entertainers. And it's like we're out to like we're into Halloween fun and stuff like that. But behind the scenes, it's like we're good people, and a lot of people get that twisted.
yeah. I've noticed that as well. And speaking of horror and whatnot, what got you into horror?
I just always I like a good story, but I mean I like my mother when I was young. We back when you could rent VHS tapes from the store, and you come back. She'd always come back with something, not Return of the Living Dead. Just I just grew up with it, and getting older and getting into the mask and meeting people from the industry and just it's fun. It's just fun. I find horror the more campy the better in my opinion. I don't like it too serious. It's like I don't that's more into thriller and drama and that's okay. But like when it comes to my horror stuff, I'm a Bruce Campbell type person. I want it a little bit campy and a little bit
Yeah.
funny. And I want that moment. There's that jump scare, the over the top acting, lots and lots and lots of fake blood. That's what I'm
Yes.
into.
Oh my God, me too. That, it's funny that you mentioned Return of the Living Dead. Even though this episode is coming out on July 12th, the day that we're filming this is July 3rd, which is Return of the Living Dead Day, because at the title screen, or it's like the incident goes down on July 3rd, 1984. So
I'll be honest with you. Return of the Living Dead 2. My mother rented that, and that movie absolutely gave me nightmares for years and gave me a phobia of dead bodies. Like I have a true phobia of
oh wow.
dead bodies because of that movie. And I can watch it now. But when I was young, just and I've grown to love like the humor of part two, like because it's funny. It really is. It's the zombies are talking. He picks up. He goes, "Who's the president?" And he comes back and get the damn screw out of my head. Like that's. But my mother was a huge chicken, so we would be on the couch and it'd be popcorn and we'd be watching it, and she would cover her head with the Afghan while the bad stuff was happening. And I would have to give her colored commentary of what's going on. So you can imagine this small child, 6, 7 years old. Well, what's happening? He's eating his brains. Another one come having to tell her what's happening. And I remember scared the death out of me. That movie did, and it did. It bothered. There's a few movies that took me years to actually go back and watch because she would do that to me. In hindsight, if I could go back and speak to my mother if she was still here, but Mom, why'd you do that? That was not good. You should let me been hiding under there with you, instead of asking me what is going on.
Oh dear.
But I remember that movie. That movie left a big thing. But from my childhood, I got into like the Puppet Master series and like I was really into that and Critters and
Oh,
Hellraiser.
my
Those.
dad worked on Critters.
Oh, I love Critters. Critters is like one of my favorite, from that genre, and because it had that science fiction, but it's still monster. That I love Killer Clowns from Outer Space. But it was just so over the top. It's like
Yeah.
it's like believable. It's like not like I was watching something like that could really happen. I mean, it was kooky, and I love that. And to this day, I still love that.
Yeah, me too. Um, it sounds like you have an appreciation for like old school effects, like practical effects and whatnot.
I'm not a big fan of CGI. I'm really not. I like practical. I just, there's a magic behind the puppet, if it
Hmm.
makes sense. There's a magic behind that, and the time lapse. CGI, no matter how good it gets, and do not get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I mean, it's gorgeous. But there's just it's not there with them, and you can tell there's a separation between the actor and what's going on, and it's like
Hmm.
you can tell that it's not there, even though they're staring at a little tennis ball on they're not reacting. Hank, it's just daddy. I'm sorry, honey. You go back and take a nap. My friend.
I I saw your Frenchie in a video where he or she
Yeah, that's Tank. Come here,
uh,
baby. Come here,
I
baby. Let's
saw a
go say
video
hello.
that you posted where he was you opened up the closet and he was at first gonna go after your vacuum cleaner and then he saw the Chucky doll and was like, "Oh no, not on my watch."
No, he's protecting daddy. This is my baby right here. He is truly this. He goes on tour with me. Oh, you could just tell he's just a big old love bug. Thank you for protecting daddy. I love you. Go lay down, honey. Go lay down. We'll get you some blueberries. Go lay down, honey.
Um, oh yeah, going back to the practical effects, you wear a mask in your performances,
Yes.
and oh my gosh, it's so hot getting the latex, the plaster put on and everything.
Mhm.
So,
I like doing it. It's fun to watch it be created and to watch it come to life because you have an idea. And I'm lucky to work with Jason Kisner. He also worked with me in Mushroomhead, who created my mask during the era of the Righteous and the Butterfly. And we have took that and evolved it. Now I have a spine that runs up the back of it. It was always inspired by Geiger with the face huggers, the original. It's got the
yeah,
so it's kind of a reverse face hugger that like kind of hugs onto the back of my head.
yeah,
And just to have Kisner, he's such a talented artist. And him and I are constantly just going back and forth of like what he created these right here, like to get an idea of
oh,
like
look at that.
what like you can see the spine that runs up. He made these little figurines of me, and it's kind of cool because you've always seen the little Beethoven versions of it, and I have
Yeah,
me, and I'm like, That's cool. You know, and he's like, you do what you want. I said, these are just gonna stay on my desk, but just the amount of detail that's in there. And this was done off a 3D scanner. He scanned
Yeah.
the mask off of my bust and made that out of it. And the amounts of detail. And we just released 10 of those masks to the public for fans to pick up. And I love the fact that the fans are just like, it's like it looks cool when you see it in pictures, but when you get it in your hand and you can really see the detail that's in the mask, his work is second to none. And I'm so lucky to be working with him. And he's just a great guy. And like and the stuff we come up with, like we know we can't do it because it's not practical, but like just the things we try to come up with. And we're already talking about the next cycle and the next ideas of mask of like for the next album. Because the album's coming out now, and this is the look for this album, and we will continue to evolve and try to make it cooler along the way and but he helps me create the character that is Waylon of A Killer's Confession, because obviously you're talking to Waylon Reavis. I'm just the guy behind the curtain. Don't pay attention to me. uh, but he it truly helps me look at that character and try to decide who is that character. Is he
Yeah.
can? Is he funny? Is he violent? Is he angry? Is he hurt? I can look at this and it helps me become that entity in a way as an actor. Even though I'm a songwriter and performer, there's a bit of acting that comes along with it when you don a mask or a costume. You want it to be bigger than life and have that looking at me while I'm creating helps me channel like what would he say? You know, like I am more into the entertainment aspect of doing this. I'm not wearing a mask just because I can put it out for sale. I try to keep them as rare as possible. I wear a mask because I enjoy the entertainment value of like you're going to see a spectacle. You're going to go see something that's bigger than life. And that's really why I do what I do, because I enjoy that part. And that's why I enjoy horror movies. And, you know, I enjoy movies in general. Like I can sit, I don't even have to watch the movie. If I've seen it enough, I can put it in the background and know every line and just listen to it and just gets the creative juices flowing.
That's awesome. This new album, it's Victim One. Is that
Yes,
still the title? Okay.
Victim One.
And so far there's been Tongue and Greed and Martyr as the three singles that
Those
have
are the
come out.
three that have came out so far. It's a story, and you have to like this is not going to be laid out for you like a book. This is music, but this is a complete concept album of a serial killer vigilante. He is very much in a world he does not understand, and it's just he sees all the sins and the greed and the violence and just the you know people just not having a moral compass, but at the same time he finds himself guilty of these things. And a lot of the songs on Victim One deal with the fact that he has a split personality. So a lot of the times you're going to be listening to a song and it's going to feel like a conversation is happening, because it is. There's two sides to the brain talking to each other. And it was probably the most difficult album I've ever wrote, because like I didn't want like and I as much as I love campy, I don't want my music to be campy lyrically. I don't want to like write about a murder or you know, a witch hunt or something like that. I would rather talk about the psychological of what's going on up here. And this album was very difficult writing. I took a year and took my time and just to make sure that everything laid in the place that I see it, because I'm not going to lay it out for you to find. You're going to have to listen and decipher lyrics from one song to another and see where the tiebacks happen. And then maybe you can put the story together for yourself. Because I'm never one, I love a good puzzle too. I love to be like, because years later, I've done this for years with songs, but even with albums, like I'll say something 4 albums later that referred back to something I did in 2006.
Oh wow.
And and so like if you're into lyrics and you're into tie-ins of like, well, he just answered that question, but I did it years
Mm.
later. I'm all about that. I'm all about leaving Easter eggs and just little things, and you have to decipher it and you have to find it. And a lot of it, especially with this album, it all ties together because it lays down the story of where he's going and where he's at. And, is it in his head? Is this really happening? It's very much, this guy's insane. And this is the start. And I've already started working on the next album.
Oh
And
wow.
and it's a continuation of where he's going as a person.
Oh, that's so
And
cool. That's like that gives so much replayability for the music for, you're drawing in new fans, but also giving something to the old fans a reason to go back to things that they've
oh,
already
you
heard
can
over and
go,
over.
you can go back and you'll find things and you'll hear certain just phrases and things that just tie into, but that's real familiar. And the reason it's familiar is because I'm actually going back, and as a writer, I'm creating a universe with my own music. And it's like most people would never get this unless I said it. And there's a point for it. Like I've always tried to write about some kind of hope, though, some kind of self-worth and a light at the end of the tunnel. And there's always a message in every song. There's a message, and if you just take the time to decipher, like I'm not about the hook line, I'm not about what's popular, I'm not about writing about material things. I'm all about the one place you're going to wake up every day is inside your head. You're going
Yeah.
to wake up with yourself and you're going to go to sleep with yourself every night. You live in your world. And sometimes we forget the fact that we all do and we all go through the same thing. So I try to really write something positive because I've been given a platform and I feel like that platform should be used for better things. I like the worst thing to me is just to listen to a song. Now, I mean, you got love songs and all that, and that's all good for people who want to hear that and everybody to each their own. But for me, I write for people that have been through the same paths I've been, and people who maybe are starting to go down the path that I went. And if you listen and you know my story, maybe I can write something to keep you from having to take the fall that I took. And maybe save you from yourself. Be like, that really he's laying it out here. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I should be more aware of my surroundings and what I'm doing because from what he's saying, there is a pit, but there's also redemption from that pit. So I always do try to put some kind of like there's always a moral in everything I do, and it's never bad. Like even though I'm a killer's confession, I don't like write about like murder and things like that. I'm deeper than that. I would never write a song about hack and slash and doing something. There's always an undertone and there's a real message, but I'll never tell people what it is because like it's for the listener to decide.
Yeah, I try to do that with my work, both
It's
here and
difficult.
on my other website. Yeah, it's just like you don't want people to go through the pains that you have. It's in
No, and it's
any
like a
way that you
lesson.
can
It's a
to,
lesson, and it's like
yeah.
I had to pay a lot of life lessons, and I had to lose a lot, and I had to learn a lot, and gain back a lot. And people, shouldn't have to suffer. I've always believed that, if somebody can be big enough to be like, let me take the pain for you, just learn from my mistake. Be that real friend to be like, no, I've already been there.
Yeah.
Don't turn left there. Trust me. And
Yeah.
people and I get people that do find it and it helps, and it's the biggest humbling and very much special when people do find it and they're like, this saved me from this, and I'm like, that's what it's there for. That's because it's never been about fame and it's never been about money to me. It's about the message. It's
Yeah.
always about the message because I've dealt with death and knowing my own mortality my entire life. And the one way that I can continue to be here is through this. And if I'm going to do that, I want it to be something I can be proud of. And it's something that years down there, like he was saying something, whether it was noticed or not at the time, he was saying something, and it will always be there for
Yeah.
somebody to find.
What you write remains.
Yeah, it does. And why write something that's either trendy, that could be a joke 10 years from now, be like, well, what were we thinking? Like that type of, and I see most of what's going on today of when people gain some sort of intelligence back in the future, they're going to look back and they'll be like, how dumb were we? Because like a lot of what's going on today, and I don't care. You can go to any social media and you see the dumbest things, the dumbest, I mean, absolute dumbest of dumb. And people think this is cool, and people are making millions and millions of dollars off of it. And I'm like, do you know how embarrassing this is for you? And nobody's telling you this because you're just getting your likes and your subscribes and you're getting your OnlyFans or your subs, and you're making yourself look like a complete moron. And
Yeah.
I'm there with it. That's why I've really pulled back from TikTok and social media, because I think it's just a circus of just idiots. I could be
I mean,
wrong,
I
but
I
that's my
can't I
opinion on it.
can't argue.
It is, and the only way it's going to stop is to correct bad behavior, and people just be like, stop that. You know how dumb you look. Get an education. Go do something. This is not doing, like my son told me. He goes, I want to be an influencer, and I told him no, and he was like, why? I said, you don't know anything to influence anything about anything. I would rather be educated than influenced. And to influence is to trick. You're influencing, you're pushing your agenda, whether it be right or wrong, rather than be educated on the proper of like, this is how things are, this is how it is. One and one is two. Educate me, don't influence me.
Oh, well, we're almost out of time. And if you could educate the people watching on where they can find you, I mean, I guess not so much on social media, but
Well,
where you'll be touring
we're on
and
social media. We are, but I just don't do the cliche stuff that people say. I'll do some funny stuff from time to time. It always has to do with the music, but you can always find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Music, YouTube. Our videos are there.
I
Um,
noticed that your Twitter isn't too active right now, but your
I don't even know how to
Instagram
make
has been.
Instagram's very our Facebook's very and we're very active on TikTok. We are very active on TikTok. We post videos of live stuff and going on, but it's like when it comes to the trends, I try to stay out of it as much as possible.
Yeah.
I just shake my head at it, and even though I have to do it, it's a it's a necessary evil in my business to do this.
Yeah.
You can find, if you really want to know what's going on, just go listen to the music. That's where it boils down to. Go watch the video. There's always
I
messages there too.
I really liked Greed.
Thank you.
Um, I I wasn't familiar with your music before this. My husband was, and he was a fan. I don't usually listen to my husband's music because I can't process a lot of it. It's like if you're going to bother to pull out all these heavy instruments and write a song and sing about it, like why can't you be bothered to enunciate? Which is one of the things that I really liked about your music is that I can actually understand what you're saying, and that's like
Thank you.
so rare in your genre. And thank you.
Thank you so much. And I have a very thick Southern accent as well. And people all the time, I get off stage because I won't talk like this on stage, but everybody's like, "That's how you really speak," and I'm like, "Yeah, this is me.
You sound a
That's
lot like
him."
my aunt. She's from North Carolina.
I'm originally from North Carolina, so that's
Yeah,
why
my
you.
my Aunt Carol.
What part of North Carolina is she from?
She was from not Charlotte. Maybe it was Charlotte.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was Charlotte. She was um. Oh my gosh, I'll get back to you. I'm flustered. We
I'm
only have
from
a
the
minute
mountains of
left.
North Carolina. I'm from where Mayberry from the Andy Griffith Show. I grew up
Okay.
actually 40 minutes from the real place, Mount Airy, not Mayberry, but Mount Airy. I grew up in the mountains of North Carolina, so
Oh, that's so cool.
I've just I've never wanted to like lose who I truly am. So like everybody's like, when's your accent's going to change? I'm like, never. This is who I am. I'm proud of it. So.
Well, good. I'm glad that you're proud of who you are, and I can't wait to see what comes next from the Victim One album.
We have Filth dropping on the 12th. Our new song Filth will be coming out.
Oh, the
And
day that this comes out.
our new song Filth. So like your listeners, go to Spotify, go to Apple, go to YouTube. There'll be a lyric video, everything. Pick that, go watch that stuff, guys. Go be a part of the story. Go listen and enjoy yourself. This is music, and I'm going to say this. I'm really excited for Filth to come out. Like it's one of my favorites on the album.
Oh, that's great. Well, we're out of time. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
All right. Well, it was so nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you. Have yourself a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Good luck on your tour.
Thank you, darling.
Bye.
Bye.